to go, but with this one, when you're staring down the likelihood of possibly seeing a snake or Crom, you don't usually go with that. That's why we're going to be seeing the Wolf here, which I think is a much smarter pick out of SeveR as we get things started.
And this is going to be a very volatile matchup, I feel, especially as we start ourselves off on Pokemon Stadium 2 to begin top 8. This is going to have a lot of potential to just sort of be really slow or extremely explosive based off the damage output for both of these characters.
One thing I've learned when it comes to watching all of like the talented Mexico players, especially from this past year from watching online, is that if you think they're starting off slow, you're very wrong because stocks just fly. They are so quick to take advantage of any small situation and blow you up just like that forward smash.
Yeah, Panti taking an amazing start to this game. Forward smashing off of the up B from Wolf. That's tough. All Spaceys have a rough time when it comes to offstage play, but especially against the likes of Snake, who's able to mix up so heavily where you're allowed to navigate the space.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Spaceys who normally want to be able to kind of control the tempo of the game, control the pace. Snake is entirely anti-fun in that regard. He doesn't want you to be able to do that. He puts out as many annoying grenades as possible, a lot of escape tools. One of the things that will work for SeveR is if he can get ledge traps consistently, that's the best way he's going to be able to try and find a W in this matchup.
Yeah, but that's asking for a lot when it comes to the likes of Snake. As you saw earlier, Panti, no stranger to being able to recover really high when it comes to this offstage play. And even though SeveR's done a decent job of locking him down at the ledge, we'll see how they can manage to keep that moving forward. Really clean kill.
I'm already here for a double parries into the up smash, but now you're forced to have to deal with all of this. The frame trap, the ledge trap, everything that was involved with the Nikita play just now, consistently forcing SeveR back off stage to where Wolf doesn't want to be with that poor recovery.
And I'm loving this use of down tilt too, just to occupy the space, rack up the damage even further. You're expecting the up tilt to take up some space, but knowing it's not going to cover how swift Wolf can come back from the ledge, just keep it live further and further, so when you do land it, you know Wolf's going to pop.
Absolutely, and I mean, speaking of pop, yeah, there it is right there. At some point, pop goes the weasel. There was nothing you could do at 178% when it comes to Snake. He wants to trade with you, but when he's at 45%, he's got way too many options to just knock you out. Even though he got the F tilt, it could have been a down throw to an up tilt at some point as well.
Yo, the confident spacing with Panti too. Did you see that little shimmy just right in front of Wolf? Like, come on, dude.
I love it, man. When you see like people start to feel themselves, to start like really feel good in the matchup, you start to get that mental aspect in the game. You start to toy with your opponent, and that makes them play a bit more aggressive. Like if you can get your opponent to play dumb, especially against Snake, Snake is in a much better spot.
Definitely, especially when you have to consider that Wolf doesn't have a lot that allows him to aggressively advance onto the stage while being safe. Dash attack is, of course, the premier option that Wolves will pick out, but when you have two grenades in the way to clash with, or potentially placing yourself right near C4, it's a rough doings, especially as Panti's comfortable moving from ledge to ledge, but there's the danger in that.
Yeah, SeveR finally finds the F tilt, and it was right after you just mentioned that double grenade. Got hit by the Cypher as well. You always, like, as good as Wolf's ledge trapping is, you always have to pay attention to the possibility of Cypher because you can knock it out pretty quick. I thought he was going to Tomahawk up tilt. There's the up tilt anyways, though, off the tech chase, and that was beautiful coverage from Panti over and over again on a character that is just so good at shutting down any consistent type of play, keeping them stuck at the ledge like that.
I think having a really strong start in that game is what made that snowball so heavily for Snake, because even as the stocks and the percentages were starting to even themselves up, it still felt like all of that game one was in Panti's control.
Yeah, honestly, I agree too. Like everything about the beginning of that SeveR had to play from behind from the start. This man died at like 40% after that forward smash, just forcing him off stage, and that could just happen in this matchup. And if we've seen SeveR make some very solid adjustments though prior to this set, so hopefully we can see some changes here in this game too.
I'm curious to see what are the tools that are going to be utilized by the Wolf, because I feel like if you wait too long with blaster camping, Snake's going to be able to take advantage of more of the stage, especially with the stage as long as PS2. But if you get too aggro with your dash attacks, then you lead a lot of close quarter scrambles that could just end out in Snake favor by virtue of grenade interrupting stuff.
Yeah, I agree heavily on that fact that if you try to laser too much, then it's the same thing as if you leave a Steve or a Pac-Man alone too long. All they think is, oh, I could set up. If SeveR's doing a healthy mix of both at the moment, he's kind of been using the gun just kind of as a way to shut down the pace. Oh, dear, no, get away. All right, hot potato is in your favor. Now it is on Panti, who cannot activate it to use it as a jump either. It gets knocked away on the up B.
Yeah, it looked like down B got moved on over to SeveR, but SeveR, being aware of the situation, shielded it out. Didn't have to worry about eating the damage. It's a very chaotic return to neutral, as Panti is having difficulty finding a return to stage.
Chaos plus neutral is just pretty much the entirety of fighting Snake, right? It's like, I think I guessed correctly. Nope, frame 1 grenade. Oh, I called out a jump. Nope, frame 1 grenade. You just have to play so passive. And I really like the fact that we already see Panti starting to switch around using the low profile, just kind of crawl to get under these lasers. This is an even game right now, regardless of that 70% difference, but F tilt is finally what takes it out.
All right, seeing what SeveR can do with the lead. It's going to be really important just to try to keep from ledge to ledge. I think keeping the cat and mouse game difficult, but very important moving forward.
Absolutely. Now, this should be it. Yeah, there it is. Even with, not being able to go for the up tilt, the forward throw is going to take it out. Might have been a little bit of a DI mix-up or something. I don't know. But the fact that they just killed outright, definitely good for Panti, because last thing you want to have is someone like we've seen what SeveR has already done, take complete control of the game.
Looking at how the bout manages to fold out. I really like the use of forward air from SeveR because it's allowing him to try and strike where Snake isn't going to be able to keep that grenade pressure. And I think that's probably the best used tool so far in keeping that damage deficit leaning in SeveR's favor. But forward smash makes a return, not going to find its mark this time.
Okay, every time you see that, you're likely to die at 30%, so especially at 100 plus, you better be fearing for your life. Right now, also, watch out for the greatest stretch physics in this entire game. Man got the Pilates on deck. Do not go anywhere near that up tilt, 100 plus. I tried to warn you. I was trying to save your life, SeveR.
Hey, listen, you can't help it, especially while the Snake is right on his tail, constantly being able to control where it's safe for Wolf to land. That up tilt's finding its mark, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, and then tried to catch on. A spot dodge read out of SeveR on the platform with that upper after the drag down there. The fact that Nair confirms into so much stuff, it reminds me of old school Dacus, where obviously there's no up smash that comes out at the end of it, but it gives you that same type of annoyance as you get hit. Oh my god, that was about to be like 80%. Panti taking full advantage of the second stock, refusing to die.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic, especially the vertical play, taking full advantage of how SeveR lets you return to stage from so high up. And if SeveR's committed to staying far away, that's just free landing space. That's free harassment, too, because grenades are dropping, C4's dropping, Snake drops on you. You just gotta hold that.
Are you just saying it's free real estate?
It's free real estate.
I mean, look, it's foreclosed. That is the stock. The stock is gone on the second one there. Now, this is Wolf. So you always have to be very worried about the fact that you might just get ledge trapped to death. Even though you're at 86%, it is getting that much closer. If there's another like 14, around 100, this could be bad. But that forward air could have led to a down air. That's exactly why you need to be very scared. SeveR gets the tech chase read. Frank, this is starting to look very, very frightening here for Panti.
Yes, sir. Wolf's damage output is the great equalizer in how linear he is as a character. It's like you expect these moves in these situations. And because of the prevalence in the meta for this character since the beginning of Ultimate, a lot of people, whether they play with a Wolf regularly or play the character themselves or not, they know what to expect.
Sometimes, unfortunately, you expect the ability to get the tech, and the game says no. They untechable coming through for Panti in that situation to make sure he took out SeveR, and that is Panti's game. But we are in a best-of-5 territory, so we are not done just yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit as they move forward and try to figure out their way through. I like the adaptations from the Wolf. I think playing a lot more aggressively where they had the space to was very rewarding there. But just trying to find those little stray hits, I think, is going to be even further important because we saw a lot of hit confirms fail to meet their mark, and it was really just those wins in neutral that led to SeveR being able to keep the distance gap not too bad, but it was still present.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a lot of like solid situations out of SeveR where he got his openings. He was able to get, your bread and butter. He was able to get the simple damage that he could out of what Wolf will do. But there's only so much you could get in these situations sometimes because of the fact that Snake just steamrolls away with the game, and you just gotta hold that. But as we get ready to get into the next game here, I believe I saw them run it back to PS2 one more time. So, from the looks of things, feels like SeveR's still very, very comfortable here. And we're going to go ahead and return it right back to PS2 for Game 3.
Which makes plenty of sense because you don't want to really give a lot more space to Snake. Otherwise, you're going to have an even bigger nightmare with trying to navigate that space to get to him. And you don't want to take away the presence of platforms because then all of a sudden you have no room to change up how you navigate the space. This is probably as good as it gets for SeveR based off of whatever bans are available. So making it work on Pokemon Stadium is going to be very important. I think the adaptations were there between games 1 and 2. He's staying present, but he just needs to push further.
Yeah, luckily for Wolf, he doesn't really have what we call bad stages. There's not many. So I think even in a matchup like this, if he wants to play the long game, reset Nooch, be able to kind of take control of the pace of the game, he can, which he's been able to do consistently here. Unfortunately, misses the jump call out to get that back here, because that would have easily been a stock for Panti, or loss for Panti.
You know, Panti not out of it just yet, especially trying to challenge heavily as SeveR finds a landing on the platforms. Nikita going to be finding its mark only once, though, beating through with up B. But the damage, just like that, has clocked itself right back to even.
My man, yo, you're a masher. You're a button masher, bro. He's sitting there getting staggered on shield, but you know what? Sometimes you have the confidence to know that somebody's mix-up is fake. That was actually really good on SeveR to go for the up smash. Unfortunately, though, did not get the kill he was looking for. I'm telling you right now, if that situation happens again, Panti is going to go for an air dodge read forward air. That is like the third time we've seen an air dodge be left alone for free.
It's a very heavy sense of conditioning that Snake is able to get heavily rewarded for, depending on the tools available. And one thing that's been very consistent across the past 3 games is that Panti isn't really overextending with Snake. Maybe with the use of the projectiles, a grenade here or a Nikita there, a little wayward, in fact, resulting in the death there. But Snake himself isn't really extending too far with the buttons.
Yeah, I mean, Snake luckily doesn't have to do that whole overextending thing, right? Like, he just kind of gets a few hits in and then just starts setting up. So they can either push, like we've seen out of another great Snake in the area, Alendis, an incredible advantage state monster. I thought it was going to be it right there, but you don't even need the forward air, because all you got to do is position yourself up for that RPG at the ledge. Not once, but twice did that blow up everything that was SeveR's hopes for the rest of this bracket, and that is SeveR out in losers eights. Incredible play from Panti once again.
Absolutely. Panti brought us in with really confident ledge play and a finisher with the forward smash, and that's how they closed out the set. And throughout the way, showing that regardless of their opponent adapting to how they were covering space, they were able to keep themselves fluid enough to change up their own tempo and ultimately close it out on the Wolf.
Yeah, and that's just the way, like, if you go in on Wolf too much, you deserve to shake their hand and say GG. Like, you don't want to constantly approach Wolf. It's a bad idea. You need to make them overcommit, make them feel like they are very comfortable with landing with those nairs that they love to put out, and find out the timing of when they try to use laser a lot. And we saw a lot of times that crawl came in to kind of mess it up. It's like, oh, he's getting it on my animation startup. Now what do I do? Now you're dealing with a Snake who's like right next to you. And what do you do with that? You now start trading with Snake. He kills you severely earlier compared to what you do.
Yeah. Them's the breaks. And when you have like such a all-purpose tool for covering space like Blaster as well,